Thank you very much. And I'm going to talk about building an Amazon.com for data. And I'm afraid I'm not in person, so I'll try and dance around as much as possible. But this is kind of part of a bigger activity on trying to democratize data. And I want to give you a little bit of context. In the United States, there's this Evidence Act that's been passed, which is pushing for open data. The problem is we tried this before, and I was involved partially in this Obama administration attempt to make data open, and it struggled. And there's some pretty strong language by Alon Peled, who talks about the failure of the open data. Good attempt, but lots of challenges. And so we're faced with a situation. I'm on this national AI task force, and we're trying to make data available for AI as well. And I co-chaired the data subcommittee on that. And one of the things that we've highlighted, we've got 4 recommendations with making data a first-class asset. And, one of the biggest things is not just having data available and curated, but other people being able to find it. And that was part of the problem with the open data. So that's kind of the problem that I'm trying to solve here. And it, we keep saying, well, if only people could cite the data in the references. Well, they don't, and they're not going to without a different incentive structure. This is an example. We're working with NASA. They actually are manually reading publications to find out what data sets are being cited. You can see from the time and the cost that that's just not simply scalable. And so what ends up happening is that you get data listed by how they're produced, not by how they're used. So in thinking about this, 20 years ago, when you went to find a book, you found books by the way data were produced. You got the ISBN number, the author, the title, and you'd have to find a human being who would tell you how it was used. Now, the reason Jeff Bezos is a squadrillionaire now is he figured out how to build a community that would provide information about how books were used. So now when I'm interested in finding out things about, what's a book? What books are being written about Ulysses S. Grant, and kind of what is the community saying about them? That's what Amazon.com does. So what we wanted to do is figure out how we're going to find the data. Well, it is in the text. And so I was really interested in the comments from Beam and those guys where the information's in the text. We just have to figure out the machine learning and natural language processing ways to find from the semantic context how this data is being sold. So I'm, because of the storm in the UK, I thought I'd pick an example of the work we're doing with NOAA. So how are we going to find that? We're going to run a natural language processing machine learning competition, and we're going to challenge data scientists to see how data are referred to in documents. The results of this are presented. You can see the link there. We had 1,600 data science teams participate. It was unbelievable. And you could go on and see the different approaches they used. And Raid Ghani does a summary of it. What that meant is, because we were able to find data set to publication dyads, all of a sudden, for every data set, we find the publication, we then find the authors, we find the topics, we find the uses, all kinds of metadata. So my colleague on the National AI Task Force, Dan Stanzioni, is at the Texas Advanced Computing Center. So we're working together to build, take those metadata. We're working with Elsevier and Chorus to apply the machine learning models to corpora of over 80 million publications, pulling the metadata out. We've got 6 agencies that we're working with. Got it. We're building the API so you can find the topics, the authors, the data set, the publications. Out of that API, you can produce dashboards like Amazon, data inventories and leaderboards, so that now, instead of for the slosh, you can now see how the publications, how the data sets are used. You can read more in our Harvard Data Science Review piece, and thanks to all of our funders.